Nah, baik, izin Bapak, Ibu, dan seluruh peserta, acara akan segera kita mulai. Yang terhormat, Direktur Pendidikan Non Gelar, Ibu Dr Gigi Erli Sarilita, PhD. Yang kami hormati, Kepala Kantor Pengelolaan Perpustakaan Universitas Padjadjaran, Ibu Dr Uteli Siti Hadijah. Yang kami hormati, selaku narasumber Ibu Dr Marisza Hijryana. Yang kami hormati, selaku moderator Ibu Rinda Ainullah MIKOM, beserta seluruh peserta hadirin UNPAD Postgraduate Academy yang berbahagia. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, salam kebajikan, salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Puji dan syukur marilah kita panjatkan kehadirat Tuhan Yang Maha Esa, karena berkat rahmatnya kita semua hadir pada acara UNPAD Postgrad Academy sore hari ini. Saya Nafa Nafiatul Insi, selaku Master of Ceremony, mengucapkan selamat datang kepada seluruh peserta dalam acara UNPAD Postgrad Academy dengan topik Evidence Based Medicine, Jumat 23 Januari 2026, melalui Zoom meeting dan dilaksanakan secara daring. Baik, sebelum kita memulai acara inti, kita akan mendengarkan sambutan terlebih dahulu yang akan disampaikan oleh Direktur Pendidikan Non Gelar Universitas Padjadjaran kepada Ibu Dr Gigi Erli Sarilita, PhD. Disilakan.
Oke, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih Ibu MC Teh Nafa atas pembukaannya hari ini ya. Saya ingin menyapa Bapak Ibu atau Akang Teteh, rekan-rekan semua yang sudah hadir di Zoom hari ini. Kita akan belajar bersama-sama mengenai evidence-based medicine. Nah, ini merupakan rangkaian dari kegiatan rutin UNPAD Postgrad Academy yang dikelola oleh Ibu Dr. Ute Hadijah beserta tim dari Kantor Pengelolaan Perpustakaan Direktorat Pendidikan Non Gelar. Nah, alhamdulillah kita mendapatkan keluangan waktu dari alumni kita nih, alumni dari Fakultas Kedokteran Gigi Unpad. Terima kasih Dr Marisza Hijryana, kebanggaan kita nih, yang mau men-share kepada kita semua tentang evidence-based medicine. Nah, Dr Marisza ini dia sudah belajar di mana-mana, mulai dari di UNPAD, kemudian ke Belgium, kemudian ke Edinburgh. Saat ini posisinya sudah menjadi dosen tetap di University of Birmingham. Nah, pastinya banyak yang bisa di-share kepada kita semua, terutama teman-teman dari Fakultas Kesehatan, mahasiswa yang sekarang sedang menempuh studi, baik itu S1, profesi, maupun pasca sarjana di berbagai fakultas kesehatan. Nah, inilah evidence-based medicine ini, kita sebagai tenaga kesehatan memang kalau mau mengambil keputusan itu harus evidence-based. Nah, gimana ya? Apa detailnya? Kenapa harus evidence-based? Bagaimana maksudnya evidence-based medicine itu? Mari kita belajar bersama-sama dari Teh Marisa. Mudah-mudahan nanti bisa kita lakukan ilmu yang sudah kita dapatkan ini di riset bidangnya masing-masing. Terima kasih saya sampaikan satu kepada narasumber yang sudah menyediakan waktu, kemudian tentu saja kepada tim pengelola yang dikawal oleh Ibu Dr. Ute Hadijah, Kepala Kantor Pengelolaan Perpustakaan. Selamat menikmati dan belajar bersama dari sesi UNPAD Postgrad Academy ini, dan jangan lupa juga teman-teman yang sudah hadir nanti mengikuti sesi berikutnya. Itu mungkin yang bisa saya sampaikan. Wabillahi taufik wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Saya kembalikan pada Teh Nafa MC.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Terima kasih banyak Ibu atas penyampaian sambutannya. Mohon izin Ibu, kita akan melakukan sesi foto bersama terlebih dahulu. Dan kepada seluruh peserta juga dimohon untuk menyalakan kameranya terlebih dahulu, karena kita akan melakukan sesi foto bersama. Sesi foto bersama akan saya pimpin untuk 3 slide, dan berikutnya silakan untuk di screenshot oleh teman panitia lainnya. Baik, saya mulai. Satu, dua, tiga. Slide kedua. Satu, dua, tiga. Baik, untuk slide ketiga. Satu, dua, tiga. Baik, terima kasih banyak Ibu dan seluruh peserta. Di cuaca yang sangat tidak menentu ini, alhamdulillah peserta sudah banyak yang masuk dan kami ucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada seluruh peserta karena topik pembuka di 2026 ini sungguh sangat menarik seperti yang telah disampaikan oleh Ibu Direktur tadi. Jadi kepada seluruh peserta mohon disimak dengan baik dan untuk acara pemaparan materi dan juga sesi tanya jawab akan dipandu oleh seorang moderator. Beliau lahir pada 7 November tahun 1979. Beliau saat ini berkarir menjadi dosen tetap di program studi jurnalistik dan program studi manajemen produksi media Fakultas Ilmu Komunikasi Universitas Padjadjaran. Beliau kerap menjadi narasumber dalam berbagai pelatihan penulisan karya jurnalistik, pelatihan etika profesi jurnalis, dan penyadartahuan konservasi satwa liar. Beliau juga aktif menjadi penulis artikel opini di berbagai media massa nasional dengan topik komunikasi lingkungan, etika pers, dan media penyiaran. Selain itu, aktif juga menulis di berbagai jurnal, proceeding, dan mengikuti seminar nasional dan internasional. Mari kita sambut, ini dia Ibu Rinda Aunila M.Ikom. Kepada Ibu Rinda Aunila M.Ikom, disilakan waktu dan layar.
Terima kasih Teh Nafa. Ya, selamat sore semua. Good afternoon. Saya izin untuk mungkin berbahasa campur saja ya. Jadi kita juga saling berlatih ya di sore ini, berlatih berbahasa Inggris. Boleh juga campur dengan bahasa Indonesia. Good afternoon, distinguished guests, esteemed college and fellow scholars. Welcome to 2026. This is no better way to start the year than sharpening our knowledge because this is the first UNPAD Postgraduate Academy of 2026. We are truly glad to have you with us today. This program is a collaboration between Library Management Office and the Direktorat of Non-Degree Education and Professional Development Universitas Padjadjaran. Kami senang sekali pada sore hari ini kita bisa berkumpul banyak teman-teman ya dari program pasca sarjana di kedokteran ya kedokteran, Fakultas Kedokteran Gigi. Kita bersama untuk berbagi, berdiskusi, share our passion for research excellence and academic growth ya. To kick off our 2006 series, we are diving into a topic that stands at the very heart of modern healthcare and scientific integrity, evidence-based management. Seperti yang tadi Bu Erli ya, Bu Direktur sampaikan, bahwa ini adalah sebuah pembahasan yang perlu kita diskusikan bersama sebagai pembuka tahun ini. Kita mari belajar bersama. Hari ini kita memiliki ada kehadiran Ibu Dr Marisza Hijryana ya dari University of Birmingham yang akan memberikan apa sih yang disebut dengan evidence-based management gitu. In an era where information is abundant but quality is variable, the ability to bridge the gap between clinical research and practical application it's paramount. Jadi hari ini kita explore bagaimana menavigasi ini dan mendapatkan insight-insight yang pastinya luar biasa. Please welcome our guest speaker yang terhormat Ibu Dr Marisza Hijryana. Selamat sore Bu Marisza. Di sana semoga dengan perbedaan waktu tapi terlihat segar ya, tetap segar. Selamat sore Mbak.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I'm going to do the teaching in English, but I'm happy to take any question in Indonesia, India.
Thank you. Dr. Marisza Hijryana currently is an assistant professor at the University of Birmingham, UK. But above all, she is one of UNPAD's proudest alumni. We are so happy to have her back with us today. Dr. Marisza, thank you for joining us and share your expertise with our scholars today. Before I hand out the virtual floor, please tadi ya Ibu Marisza sudah menceritakan bahwa akan ada presentasi dalam bahasa Inggris, tetapi terbuka ya Bu Marisza ya. Jika nanti pertanyaan disampaikan dalam bahasa Indonesia, tetapi Ibu akan mempresentasikan paparan sore ini dalam bahasa Inggris. Without further ado, Bu Dr. Marisza Hijryana, the virtual floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Rinda. Thank you. Okay. Thank you, everyone. It is my pleasure to be here today and get back to the University of Padjadjaran, really, because I was one of the alumni of this university quite a long time ago. And I understand this is late afternoon for all of you, so thank you so much for attending this one. It is morning here in England, 8 a.m. precisely. Okay. Let's start to get to know each other, really. I'm Marisza, and I'm currently assistant professor in public health for the Department of Applied Health Science, College of Medicine and Health. And I'm currently also Deputy Program Director for the MSc Global Health here at the university. And I'm going to send this slide later on, and if you would like to know me more, I have some link here connecting to my university staff details and also my LinkedIn. Please do add me on LinkedIn and we can be connected really. So my qualifications, I did my PhD at the University of Edinburgh, and I've done Associate Fellow of the Higher Education Academy here in the UK, and I've done my master degree, Master in Public Health Methodology from University Libre de Bruxelles in Belgium, and I graduated from University, Padjadjaran University, Universitas Padjadjaran. It's quite a long time ago, 2009. So yeah. So I'm currently delivering a teaching for both undergrad and also postgraduate degree here. For undergraduate degree, I'm mainly teaching the medicine undergraduate degree. That's involved doing evidence-based medicines, the topic that we're going to talk today, and study design and healthcare, systematic review, RCT as well. And I'm also advisor for the Health Improvement Evidence Review project for the undergraduate medicine students. For postgraduate degree, I've been delivering MPH, Master of Public Health, as well as MSc Global Health here. And I'm also Deputy Program Lead for Research Method. So that's me in overview. And if we speak about research, I've been involved with several topics, global health inequalities, that's also including global dental health inequalities. And I've been working on the oral health related quality of life, health related determinants of improved care of people with multimorbidity. So I'm not only doing a dental public health, but also something that is more general, such as multimorbidity. And one of my research interests is wider determinants of health, where we have a look individual characteristic and behavior, social and economic determinants, physical, environmental determinants, and commercial determinants, and how all of this affecting people overall quality of life. In terms of research, I've been working with several universities in the UK, University College of London, University of Oxford, University of Southampton, Glasgow, and University of Edinburgh as well, where I did my PhD. And in Indonesia, I've been working with University of Indonesia for research, and hopefully in the future, I can have a collaborations with the Universitas Padjadjaran as well. If you would like to know more about my research and the publications that I've been published with colleague, then please do heading to this link. So now I will give you some time to scan this barcode. Could you please scan it with your phone? So give a bit sometimes. Yes. Okay. Okay, thank you, Rinda. So that is that. This is the first questions, really. I would like you to ask anything. What do you want to know about University of Birmingham? It can be really anything, really. What do you want to know? Is it studying here at Birmingham or the research excellence here? Anything? Please just do type in. I really want to know what you think, what do you want to know from us here? Okay, scholarships, any other things that you would like to know? Please do type in. The PhD program, that's great. Student life, that's great. Very good. Yeah, we can really talk about that in the end of this session. So would like to know that another person to talk about PhD. So I give a bit 1 minute more and then we can go on with the presentation. Okay, scholarships, great. It seems scholarship is the biggest themes here. Yeah, I can talk a bit about that as well. Okay, let's continue with the next slide. Thank you so much. We can talk about this in the end of the presentation. Okay, great. I got student environment. Yes, okay. You will see a bit of student life, our student life here in the end of these presentations. So I'm going to show you that. Thank you so much. We're going to talk about that later, but now I just would like to know, what do you know about evidence medicine currently? And then we can continue. Type anything if you feel you're comfortable with this topic or you'd like to know more. Just let me know, really. Please do type in anything. Give a bit of minute and then we can continue. Yeah, from the audio, from the participants as well, because now you're doing a postgraduate degree. It's okay. I mean, you can. It's not right or wrong. It's just like a icebreaker. I would like to know, what do you know so far about evidence-based medicine? If you think, oh, this is the first time you encounter to the term, that should be okay as well. Okay. Okay, now I think let's just moving on to the next slide, really. Okay, yes. Oh, great. Okay, meta-analysis of the informations. Okay, yes. Let's moving on now. What is EBM really? Evidence-based medicines is basically a a process of conscientious and judicious and explicit use of the current best evidence available when making decisions about care of individual patients. And there are, as you can see, there are three pillars here. Three pillars of EBM, really. One is the best research evidence available. It obviously comes from high quality studies, such as RCT, systematic review. I think some of you mentioned systematic review, which is great, and cohort study, control studies, and the evidence answer, these evidence answer questions like maybe as a clinicians, you want to know whether the treatment is work efficiently and maybe how accurate some of the diagnostic tests really and what is expected from prognosis. And because since you are here postgraduate students, it can be really helpful when you're writing your assignment. And the second one is about individual clinical expertise. This is really the skill and experience of the healthcare provider, the clinicians. And for example, I can give you an example. A good clinician is not only taking account the disease consulted to them, but also taking account any adjustment needed for the patients. For example, if a patient has other risk factors, they need to take account that. And the thirdly is about patient values and expectations. We need to appreciate this, what matter to the patient really. We need to know maybe is there any lifestyle that we need to take account, and if they have a financial constraint, risk tolerant. Why I'm talking about financial constraint? For example, I'm dentist by background. For example, someone has a missing tooth and you would like to offer treatments such as implant or maybe just tooth extractions, and maybe you want to know dental bridge or removable denture, then you need to consult that with the patients, not only what best as from your view as clinicians, but also take account what matters to the patients really, what their expectations and their value are. And EBM is sitting in really in the center of these three pillars. As you can see, the yellow, I highlighted this in yellow. So it's really in the intersections of these three pillars. Why is EBM important? Obviously, medical knowledge itself is continually evolving. So as a clinician and as a researcher, as a postgraduate student, you want to catch up with the recent medical knowledge really. And you want to know the effective treatment when they become available. For example, if we talk about COVID-19 pandemics, then there's lots of rapid medical advancement there in terms of vaccines, and you need to keep up to date because it's really a lifelong commitment for every health care practitioner, but also I think for us as academician as well. I think my colleague here know about this as well. And you need to develop and use the scale to find really to apprise and to act based on the research evidence. And I'm going to talk to you here about how we can apprise this. For example, you are a medical student, you would like to know how you can apprise a good evidence-based medicines. So we encounter to the a framework, or we can say quadruple A. Let's do this. So basically, I would like to highlight here that EBM is not only relevant for a health practitioner, but also relevant for you as a student in the public health field, really, when you want to assess a paper, or particularly when you, like I mentioned before, you're doing assignment, or in the future, you're going to write a research proposal, or you're writing your dissertation or thesis. It can be really helpful. Okay, this is the overview of the AAA framework. I'm going to discuss this more details with you in the in the next couple of slides. So as the first A in the framework is assess really what is the clinical questions, what is the research questions, and what is the most appropriate study design to answer these questions. So if we talk about study design, hopefully you've been encountered to this, but if not, I'm going to explain briefly about this. So epidemiological research is divided into observational and experimental or interventional. And as you can see, the observational studies are where we made no change to the care to the patients receive or to the population that we observe really. And in observational study, researchers just observe and record the data. But in experimental or interventional, is where the investigator have made a deliberate change to the care of treatment or have made any adjustment or intervention. That's the difference basically between observational and experimental. And the key things in the observational, as you can see, it can be descriptive, it can be analytical. For the descriptive studies, they are really limited to hypothesis generations and they're not suggesting to test a hypothesis. But in analytical studies such as case control and cohort, you can assess some of the relationship between risk factors and or your outcome of interest, for example. But if you do really want to do to test some hypothesis, then the RCT will be the best study. Yeah, that is very useful when you want to determine whether a relationship is associations or causations. Yeah, so let's moving on. So a part of assess is PICO. Hopefully you've been encountered to this. So when you have a look any publication, have a look the PICO aspect of the population. So PICO aspect of the research really. P is populations, your populations of interest. I is the interventions, is there any new treatment, or it can be also exposure to something. Comparator is really existing treatment, or it can be usual care, or maybe placebo, no treatment. That's possible as well. The outcome can be anything you want to assess really. If in your research interest, it can be if you're interested with mortality, morbidity, or you want to know whether blood pressures is increasing or not, blood glucose, or you can also assess a particular disease. For example, if you are from dentistry, it can be you want to assess periodontal disease outcomes. That can be possible as well. Yes, that is that. And we move on to the clinical scenario. Here, I would like to give you 2 minutes to have a look at this, and then we'll have some interaction session together. So it's basically, this is the case that come to you. Carol Jones, or let's say, or your patient is a 53-year-old woman who presented to you, and you are her GP. Let's play this scenario. And she has a recent onset of sweating, anxiety problem with concentration, and irregularities with her menstrual cycles. And she has been wonder if she's been in menopausal and has come to you because the symptoms have started to interfere her daily life, and you organize some tasks to roll out alternative explanation for her symptoms, but consider that the most likely diagnosis that you think based on your individual experience, clinical, one of the pillars that I talked before is the onset of menopause, you think. And you recall, there's also a debate has been over the years about whether you need to give hormone replacement therapy or not, really, because you know that there's some debate that HRT is associated with increased risk of cardiovascular disease. And you want to know what are the effects of HRT on cardiovascular disease in postmenopausal women. So I give you a minute to really think through it. And then please do think about PICO, population, interventions, exposure, comparator, and outcomes from that clinical scenario. So please do take your 1 minute to read this through. Great, I hope you're ready with this interactive one. Let's start with the populations of interest. It's still in the same barcode, so you just need to follow on the barcode that you've been interacted with me in this session. Population, what do you think the populations of interest in this case? Just type in anything, really. You don't need to be scared whether it's right or wrong. It's just a part of my teaching. I do the same thing with my students here at the University of Birmingham. So hopefully that will be good for you as well. Yes, the populations. Anyone to answer this? Are you able to use the same barcode that I gave you previously? Okay, the link is not working. Should we go back to the link again? Because some of the participants mentioned the link is not working. Let's go back
But
to
some
the.
participant already answer it in the chat box.
Okay, great. In the chat box, maybe Rinda, you can let me know once they answer it in chat box.
Okay,
Thank you,
Nabila answer the
Yes,
population
postmenopausal. Okay.
menopause woman, but Haridil
Yes.
answer the
Yes.
population is postmenopausal woman.
Yes.
So
Okay,
there
great.
are two answers here.
Yeah, that is great. One of you, Nabila Zuhdi, it's very good, Nabila. You mentioned about menopause woman, HRT treatment, and the outcome is cardiovascular disease. Thank you. And Haridil Silmi also mentioned about that. Okay, thank you so much. So yes, basically, yes, you're right. The population of interest here is the postmenopausal woman. And let's go. Intervention that we interested in is the HRT, hormone replacement therapy, really. And beyond that, we want to think any dose, different dose will give a different evidence or durations or type of HRT. It can be estrogen only, or it can be estrogen and progesterone, really. So thank you so much. I can see that some of you may have health related background in here. And how about the comparator? Some of you say placebo. Yes, that's great. Yeah. Okay. Yes, the comparator. Let me go to okay. Comparator can be whether you're not giving her at all the HRT, no HRT, or you can also, the comparator can be different dose that you test between interventions and comparator, and the durations, how long you're going to give it, and type of HRT, and it can be also placebo, whether that means you're not giving HRT to to Carol Jones here as our patients. And then the outcome of interest, I'm so glad to read. Some of you mentioned cardiovascular, so that's the right answer. Thank you. So that is cardiovascular disease, because we interested with the outcomes, which is the cardiovascular disease. So I can see that you do well here. So you know how to assess PICO or PECO when you read an evidence-based medicine paper, really. Okay. We come to the next A. So you've been learning about assess and what type of study is the most appropriate, and you applied the PICO there. Now we move on to access, finding the best evidence. And you talk about validity and relevance here. Let's go. Yeah. When you're finding the best evidence, obviously you want to go to reputable databases. It can be Medline, PubMed, Embase, because you are student in health-related field. These are a very relevant databases that you may want to have a look at, really. And there's also Cochrane Library for RCTs, so you can go to this as well. So basically, you know your research questions and the type of study that you're interested in. For example, you're only interested with the primary study, then you want to focus on that. And it can be also, oh, I think I will take account some secondary data as well. That's mean the paper analyze data that have been collected in previous primary study. Or you can also you can have interest in RCT or maybe systematic review. You can have a look and tailor that when you search the publication of interest. And I really would like to highlight, when you do your research about the available references, when you do your assignment, for example, try to have a look the recent evidence. That's mean the last 10 years. Because if you're going forward to like maybe 50 years from now, 50 years back from now, some of the result may not be the best evidence available, the most effective treatment available. So I would suggest focus on the very recent one, 10 years from now. So that's mean 2016 to 2026. That will be better. That's what I also suggest with my medicine or also MPH students. Have a look at recent evidence when you want to support your assignment. So that is there. So now we move on to how you appraise, really. When you appraise, let's try to get to know how you can appraise, how you can evaluate the quality of evidence, and how you can interpreting the result, really. So at Symbols, appraisal will ask about, does the study address research questions which is relevant to your clinical interests or research interests? Did the researcher use the study design most likely to provide a valid answer to your questions? In that case, you want to know the effect. For example, you want to know the effectiveness and which study design that you would like to see. If you want to know the effectiveness questions, causation questions, then you want to focus on RCT here, randomized controlled trial. And the next question is, was the study done well? Is the study trustworthy? Then you want to have a look where any step taken to reduce possible biases. That can be one of your critical thinking that you can do when you encounter two publications. And the next question, if the study was done well, what were the results? What you want to see from the result, really? You want to see statistical significance of the result, or you want to see how precise it is. That is possible. So that is a part of a prize. Of the other things that just would like to highlight, this might be beneficial for you, is really go back a bit. So when you do your access, you can always use Boolean operator and or. Please speak to people in your library staff how you can effectively search the your research interest, how you can tailor the key search term, and also tailor the Boolean operator for you. That will be related with your inclusive and exclusive criteria when you searching for a publication. So please talk with your people in your library. They will be able, I think, to help you, hopefully. Okay, now a prize, really. So we talk about a prize. When we talk about a prize, previously I talked about how to see whether there is a biases operator operating in a research, really. Basically the bias can be selection bias. So the selection bias occurs when the way in which group of subjects are selected for a study means that, for example, the group cannot be validly compared with each other or with general populations. So that possible. For example, if you do your sampling in high-end clinic, for example, you cannot the result from that high-end clinic might not applicable for general populations. For example, you collected data in like I mentioned, private clinics, which is offering a best treatment and quite expensive, and you do your research, you collect your data from that, it might be the result you couldn't apply it for general populations. For example, one of our research here, we sample nurse. Obviously, the nurse has a background in dental. I mean, they have a background, health-related background, so they're more knowledgeable in certain health-related issue than the general population. So you cannot take account the result generated in your very specific populations to more general populations. So that can introduce a sampling bias. But if you only want to take account the result from that specific population, that should be okay as well. And here I talk about response bias. For example, some of you do qualitative research when you interview your participants and you ask, for example, have you had any dental problems in the last 12 months, in the last years? That can be a response bias because the thing, some people might not really remember about whether they experienced that in the last, well, if it is the last 12 months, normally people will understand. But if you, let's say, as back to 5 years, then you can get a response bias. Some people might not remember they had experienced it before. And now we move on to the next slide, really. This one, information bias. This occurs when the way in which the data are obtained from groups being compared differs systematically. This normally happened in cohort study when you have a very long period of data collections, because cohort, it can be, you collect data for 10 years and you can have loss to follow-up bias. You can't follow your participants because it's really long. Some people move to different city, for example, so you lost some participants. If you have a bigger number of losing the participants, that we call it attrition bias in research, then it may affected your results, really, and you need to mention it. For example, you start with 100 and in the end you only get 20, so that's a very big proportions of people leaving your research that can introduce loss to follow-up bias. And here I mentioned about other things, interviewer bias. This is interviewer bias. For example, if you interview someone and you already come with, you need, in a qualitative research interviewer, you need to come with a very blank paper. So you want to understand the participants, but some interviewer may introduce their knowledge or their life experiences, so that can introduce some interviewer bias. And recording bias, whether you record the data correctly, and we talk about recall bias as well here. So another thing that is important when you apply research evidence, really, maybe you want to have a look, because we talk about hormone replacement therapy and we talk about our outcome of interest is cardiovascular disease. Is there any confounder between them? So confounder is a factors associated with the exposure and independently also associated with your outcomes here. And confounder in this case, you need to take account the age as well. As people are getting older, they might be more prone to cardiovascular disease, and whether there's someone smoking is or not. The obesity may be affecting here, operating here as a confounder in this relationship between HRT and cardiovascular, and whether someone physically active or more sedentary, whether someone has diabetes, or you would like to have a look their cholesterol level as well, and how their behavior related to seeking healthcare and treatment. So confounding is also important when you assessing a paper, evidence-based medicine. Have a look whether there are any confounder operating between that relationship. Have a look at that. Okay. So now we move on to act. And this is a very last one, really, is to act based on the evidence relevant to you. And should you take this evidence, apply this, whether it will change your practice, you need to critically assess this. And if you're writing a paper, really, you can be critical as well. Oh, this might be not relevant for these populations, or this will be relevant to my population of interest. And this is a new evidence that may change the current practice that is possible. So to act, the last one. So we talk about assess, access, apprise, and also act here. So when you act, obviously you want to have a PICO again, your PICO, and then you want to also take account the costs as well. So evidence and then actions. Have a look, all these three critical thinkings were all important outcomes, including harm considered. Are the patients and healthcare setting in the trial, in the research, similar to what you have or your population of interest? Are the patients and healthcare setting in the trial similar? The setting can be different. I talk about the different setting. For example, rural areas or urban areas that can be different. What other treatments are available and what is the cost really? And then based on that evidence, you can take an action. And if you are a student, based on that evidence, you can obviously summarize what are important that you can take from the current evidence really. So this is take-home message really. So you can, now you understand when you encounter two evidence, a publication, when you read a paper and you want to use it for your clinical practice, or when you writing a paper or dissertation or thesis, you can do this step, assess, apprise, and act framework. This is a very systematic approach when you want to assessing, finding, apprising, and deciding to act on the evidence-based medicine. Thank you so much. Now we're going to go to I'm going to stop share here, but I'm going to show you a video of our university here. Okay, I need to stop this one and I'll come back with the video. Bear with me a second, please. Okay, so that should be it. Okay, wait. Let me share the video now. Okay. Can you see this video, everyone?
Yes.
Rinda, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Rinda. So let's start this. Wait a second, start.
We've been here for over 120 years. We've influenced society, made discoveries, changed the world for the better. And it's time to take our next step, together. We have what it takes to rank in the top 50 global universities. Getting there needs us all to come together, to celebrate everything that we strive to be, to communicate with one distinctive voice, and to ensure that our identity reaches all of our diverse audiences. You have shared your amazing experiences. You have told with pride the stories of what makes this university great, and your work continues to build our reputation locally and internationally. All of this has helped us define who we are and what matters most to us. We openly collaborate across subjects, sectors, and society. No ego, no glory grabbing, just the perfect combination of insight and a down-to-earth approach. We have the unique ability to bring bright minds together across our UK and Dubai campuses and beyond. We are equipping our students with the knowledge, skills, and resilience to address the most pressing issues that the world is facing. We are a research powerhouse driven by an academic community that is unafraid of difficult questions. From this informed perspective, we can focus our expertise to create positive societal impact and bring the best of Birmingham to the world. Reaching the top 50 global universities is a shared goal, and we all have our part to play to take us there. It's time for us to move forward as one. We are University of Birmingham. We advance, we activate.
Go back. And yes, now we can have a bit of chat really. And if you would like to know about postgraduate degree here at the university, I can also give you some overview, and because some of you might be interested with this one so I can share. And then we can have a questions, and please do ask me any questions. If you want to practice your English, please do. I'll be happy to answer in English. Or if you want to ask in Indonesian, that should be okay as well. So basically, in my department, Applied Health Science, we have opportunity for you to do a postgraduate degree with us. You can register your interest and have a look several questions here. If you passionate of improving population health and tackling global challenges, click on here. So this link you will get it after this session. I will send my slide to the organizer. So you can click on available programs that we have here. So I've been involved in public health and PhD degree, and also I'm a deputy program director for global health. So if you want to ask anything about these two programs, I'll be happy to answer. And this one, if you want to protecting or promoting public health in globally, and Indonesia and also globally. Also, these are the options that we have within our department. Again, you can have a look at this, which programs that interest you. And the programs you can get, for example, MSc, that's mean you complete the programs. The full-time is a year. The part-times can be 2 years, really. Or you can also go only until postgraduate certificate. So that means you only take some of the module from the programs. And if you think, oh, I want to transform healthcare, and with cutting-edge technology, we have AI implementation in healthcare that you might be interested in. And if you want to specialize in respiratory health and disease management, we have respiratory medicines and applied health science. If you think, oh, I do have a background in economy and I would like to shape more of this in health sectors, then there is health economic master opportunity here and other things. And yeah, if you think, oh, I'm really clinical person who just would like to involve in a clinical research. So there are options of doing clinical trials, applied health science with us. So it's basically that is within on these programs, these postgraduate programs, that are only the programs in my department, Department of Applied Health Science. In other department, they have more programs. So a lot of different programs that you can explore from us here. Yes, thank you. Now it's time for question and answer. And I can see that some of you may be interested doing PhD or scholarship, and be happy to answer it. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Marisza. We have a lot of things that come from Dr. Marisza, such an insightful presentation. Terutama kalau saya tertariknya tentang patient values and expectation, it's a great issue. And we already got very strong presentation about four-step framework AAAA. Okay, please, if you feel want to ask some question, please feel free, raise your hand or write it in the chat box. Kita lihat di chat box ada satu pertanyaan. We have a question, two questions actually. From Nabila Zuhdi. Should I read the question, Dr. Marisza?
Yes, if you don't mind, yeah.
Okay, thank you, Miss Marisza, for the awesome insight from your presentation. Her name is Nabila from UNPAD. It's quite a lot out of the topic, but I'm just wondering, is there any tips for international publication? Do our publication really matter when we have applied a PhD? What to consider while applying PhD and how to get a supervisor there? I think Miss Nabila interested to continue her study there.
Thank
First
you so
question,
much.
please,
Yeah,
Miss
thank you.
Marisza.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. So, thank you so much, Nabila. It's really interesting that you've been thinking about international publications. When you starting your PhD, you don't need to be worried, oh, I need to have international publication ready before I apply for a PhD. It's not always the case. So you can always talk with your potential supervisor. For example, I've got some questions from a potential student coming to my email and talking about their research interests and their plan to apply for a scholarships. In that case, the first step will be contacting the potential supervisor at the university of your interest. Contact them, send them an email, ask them whether they will be interested to supervise you. And also stated, for example, some students have a scholarship in line. I know that in Indonesia, lots of students lots of students getting a scholarship from LPDP. So you may want to state that I do have a scholarship in my own country, and this is my research interest. Would you be interested to supervise me? So you need to. The first step is reach out to the potential supervisor. And another things, obviously, have a look to the website, in the university website. Sometimes they also offering scholarship for the international students. So based on my own experience, I was international students. I'm looking for scholarships. I was looking for for example, in Edinburgh, I received 2 scholarships from the University of Edinburgh. One is the Edinburgh Global Health Researcher, and then the Principal Education one. So have a look the available scholarships within the university. Did you have that information's in their website? You just need to have to try to get it. And you mentioned any tips for international publications? I think this is really good. You want to publish in Q1 quality of paper publications, really. And the tips is really obviously doing high quality research. Have a look at your research, whether your research is answering your research questions, whether you use right research methods when you answering your questions. A right research method, it's including study design and how you execute your research, really, how you analyze your research. That need to be rigorous. And obviously you have your supervisor. They have experience how to guide you writing research methods that is sounds academically, really. Yeah, it's just need to be and you have learned as well here in these sessions whether your research has a lot of bias or not, whether you take account confounding factors if your research in a quantitative research, but if your research in a qualitative, that will be other criteria that you need to take account. Nabila, maybe you want to add some more. You can talk really here. I'll be happy if there's anything you want to add to respond to my explanation.
Please, Nabila, if you want to add another question, raise your hand and open your mic so she can ask ya. Secara langsung, silakan. Is there any question? Follow-up question? Thank you, Miss Maritza. I think there's no follow-up question from Miss Nabila. So we go to the second question from Gordianus Lelang Wajak. How can we use AI to find the best evidence, and what would you recommend for using it appropriately?
Okay, thank you. This is a very relevant questions, Gordianus. It's really good. Now it's really, you cannot escape AI, really. It's you need to really follow the latest advancement. So when you use AI and you want to find evidence, obviously not all the result from the generative AI tools is are real. I would like to highlight here, for example, you need to be careful. Let's say you use ChatGPT and asking, could you please give me recent references related to any topic? Please be critical there, because sometimes in even ChatGPT or other generative AI, they can come with fabricated references, hallucination, that maybe actually the references is not existent. It's non-existent. Yeah, Rinda's showing agreement. So yes, that's really what you want to be critical. Don't take anything that you just don't. I mean, just don't take without processing it. Really, you need to have a look. Oh, this give me a references, and let me check in my online library or in Google Scholar or in databases whether this publication actually real publication. So be careful when you search evidence in generative AI tool. You can use generative AI tools, obviously, to get a bit of ideas or to bouncing some ideas, but don't trust it 100%, really. You need to use, obviously, this is because us as human, we have a critical thinking. We can think through it. So don't just take it without processing it, really. And it's okay to get initial ideas with the generative AI, but always check it. Check all the best evidence that they mention it. Check it whether the evidence actually real evidence. And the evidence, it's not only about primary studies, secondary studies, systematic review. It can also guidance from, for example, in you have Department Kesehatan, Depkes, they may have a guidance. That is one of the evidence as well that you can obviously take account. Here in the UK, lots of guidance related to certain field, for example, in pediatrics, or if we're dealing with multimorbidity people. So there's guidance, and guidance is not set in stones. It's always updated. Oh, I mean, every other years, if there's any new advancements, then the guidance ideally need to be updated. So yeah. Gordianis, I don't know whether I'm answer your question. Do you have any follow-up?
Oke, eh, Gordianus, do you have any follow-up question? Because selain dijelaskan juga tentang bagaimana we still can use AI for discussing our ideas, tapi tadi diingatkan ya, the critical things matter, lalu penelitiannya apakah dia benar-benar ada, dicek lagi. Itu pengingat kita yang sangat kuat ya. Terima kasih, Dr. Marisza. So we cannot trust 100% and we also cannot forbidden 100% for the generative AI using, isn't it? Di situ. Apakah ada pertanyaan lanjutan? Silakan. You can open your mic so you can ask langsung saja. Nampaknya tidak ada pertanyaan lanjutan kah?
Or maybe some of you, I think, mentioned interested doing a PhD. If you, I mean, I'm happy to have a look your research interest. You can have a look my profile and my research, whether that will be in line, and you can always send me email to us, really, or you can be connected with me in LinkedIn, where you can you can follow the research and the educational activity that I do. So that's my stuff, really. You can have a look there. That's in the email, in the chat. And speaking about publication, I've recently working with a colleague at UCL and University of Glasgow, writing a scoping review paper about upstream interventions to promote oral health and reduce oral health inequalities as well, and to have other paper. So if you want to have a look and check my research output, that is on the chat. And about scholarships, even for a master degree, if you come with a strong CV, you graduated from reputable university. UNPAD is a very good university in Indonesia and well known as well. And if you have a good background, then normally in a master degree, there's some scholarship that considering a very potential excellent candidate to come to their programs. So that is possible as well. So have a look, really, from my own experience doing a master degree and then PhD, it's just, you need to be brave. Try to have a look the opportunity. It's not only limited with what available in your country. For example, my scholarship is from the University of Edinburgh. So have a look at that and search and be confident. Come with a very polished research proposal and be confident in your interview, because you are the one who prepared the research proposal, things like that. And yeah, really try. You don't know whether you will be succeed or not if you don't try. So that's quite my principle when I applied for scholarships. If I'm not doing this, so I don't know whether I'm going to fail or not. If I fail, that's okay. That's a part of the learning process. I try again in other occasions. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Don't be afraid of failing. Yeah, failure is not something.
Yeah.
It's not everything. Silakan. Mungkin pertanyaannya juga bisa berkaitan dengan apa sih tantangan teman-teman yang di sini ingin melanjutkan studi lanjut gitu ya. Apa sih yang sekarang saat ini mengganjal? Jadi sedikit curhat ya boleh juga. Karena siapa
Boleh.
tahu ada hal yang bisa diberikan opsi-opsi lain, atau juga Dokter Marisza bisa memberikan apa ya, sharing pengalaman seperti tadi. Tidak takut untuk gagal, tapi kemudian juga bagaimana menyusun proposal untuk aplikasi studi lanjut. I think that's my question. How to show that our proposal is dia urgen, dia seksi di mata calon supervisor gitu. Bagaimana Dokter Marisza?
That's a very brilliant question, Rinda. So how we tailor our research proposal, does it look applicable? It is important questions to be asked, really. And that will come from your wider reading. So you need to have a strong background, research background. You need to write a research backgrounds, and we talk about evidence-based medicines that need to be supported with the recent evidence, recent publications, and really tailor your research methods. Normally, students come with research questions, and it need to be tailored. If you apply for master, then that research questions, your research, you need to be able to do it in a year. But if you apply for PhD, you can come with a bigger durations of research, because PhD can be 3 years or even more. So tailor your research questions. How it can be look important is based on your academic reading. If you need to support your questions with the current evidence base, really, whether your research has been answered before, that's the things that you need to consider as well. Because actually, if you have a research question, but it's not actually lots of other questions already answer that, then it might not be quite strong. But for example, in Indonesia, there's a very limited information about these topics, or it need to be some of the previous research has been really outdated. Maybe this need to be researched again in the future. That can be possible.
Yeah,
Hopefully that's
it's
answer.
interesting. Yeah, related to evidence-based medicine or EBM, apakah EBM itu juga bisa menjadi one of the topic that teman-teman di sini bisa manfaatkan untuk proposal riset mereka untuk studi lanjut? Apakah di misalnya di University of Birmingham, if you interested in evidence-based medicine lebih dalam, universitas ini juga support untuk kajian IBM.
Yes, I mean, in University of Birmingham itself, for example, in medicine undergraduate students, we have a module about evidence-based medicine. So students need to go through that, and it's a blended theory and small group tutorial. Small group tutorial where students are pricing a paper, and then they need to answer several critical questions and doing CAPS checklists. I'm going to show you. That's CAPS. Maybe have you encountered to CAPS checklists? Anyone here have encountered to CAPS, critical appraisal skill programs, so CAPS checklist? I'll put it in the chat, and this may be helpful for you when you tailoring your work. Checklist. Yeah, critical appraisal skill programs, CAPS checklist. That's what normally our students use here. So they presented with paper, they need to do critical appraisals, CAPS checklist. And CAPS checklist, it can be observational, it can be RCT, it can be case control in cohort as well. So, yeah.
Ya, silakan Critical Appraisal Skills Program, CASP checklist ya. Silakan kita punya waktu 3 menit lagi, sisa 3 menit. Untuk kayaknya satu pertanyaan terakhir bisa ya, Dr. Marisza ya. Silakan
Yes.
digunakan teman-teman untuk pertanyaan-pertanyaan yang ini, karena ini waktu yang berharga sekali ya. Dr. Marisza berkenan untuk hadir di sini dan berbagi tidak hanya berkaitan dengan eh, topik kita hari ini, evidence-based medicine, tapi juga berkaitan dengan bagaimana sih kita bisa mengembangkan diri kita untuk studi lanjut, terutama di University of Birmingham. Silakan. Oke, nampaknya ini langsung menjadi bahan pertimbangan ya bagi audiens. Kayaknya dalam pikirannya asumsi saya adalah sekarang sedang so interesting, jadi berpikir dulu gitu ya. Oh, ada satu. Oh, oke. Oh, ini Dr. Marisza. Oke.
Yeah.
Siap, siap,
Oh,
siap.
this one is Nabila saying.
Again, Nabila, yeah.
Nabila.
Her question is,
systematic-
in a systematic review, is it a must to use the tool?
What do you mean by the tool, Nabila?
Ya. Boleh Nabila open your mic dan bertanya
CAPS.
langsung.
Okay. Yeah, you will. In a systematic review, you can use CAPS systematic review. And another thing is, every time a student doing systematic review, we want them to use Prisma. Have you encountered through Prisma before? I can put it on the chat. Have a look at Prisma. It's really a flow how you do your systematic review, Nabila. So nice. And sometimes some of the PhD students doing a systematic review as well, because systematic review, it can take some time as well to do that. So have a look in the chat, Nabila. I put a Prisma statement there. That's a link. You can go through that and learn more about systematic review, how you can do your systematic review. Have a look at the flow diagrams of Prisma and also the checklist that you need to do when you're doing systematic review. And I put my LinkedIn there as well, so say hello to me in LinkedIn. So I'll be happy to be connected with you, all of you in LinkedIn.
Oke, ya, LinkedIn-nya Dr. Marisza juga sudah ditempatkan di chat box, so you can say hi dan juga bertanya lebih lanjut. Semoga tidak malu ya, jadinya kita bisa mengembangkan diri bersama-sama. Ibrahim, I apologize for joining late. That's okay. Could you please let me know if recording? Yes, the committee will provide the recording ya, Mbak Nafa ya, Teh Nafa ya. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Is there any questions? Yeah, we already got to the end of the session. Terima kasih semua. Sebuah sesi yang menarik dan terima kasih juga pada Dr. Marisza. Uh, we already got a lot of insight and saya senang sekali karena Dr. Marisza berbagi banyak hal gitu ya. Semoga ini bermanfaat dan saya kembalikan pada Teh Nafa.
Baik, baik, Ibu, terima kasih banyak. Thank you so much for all the participants. Thanks for joining for us, and of course, big thanks for our speaker and for our moderator. Thanks for amazing presentation. So for the closing, don't forget to follow our Instagram @kandaga_unpad because all information about UNPAD Postgraduate Academy we share in Instagram. And see you in another UNPAD Postgraduate Academy with another topic. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Dr. Marisza. Such a
Terima
wonderful
kasih.
time
Terima
discussing it with
kasih.
you.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih semuanya. Terima
Terima
kasih. Rinda and Nafa, should I wait a bit here after the session? Saya.
Teh Nafa. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Terima
Ya.
kasih. Boleh
Terima
untuk
kasih.
live Zoom meeting ini silakan kalau sudah.
Sudah boleh meninggalkan ya.
Terima
Terima
Oke.
kasih banyak.
Terima kasih banyak. Terima kasih Rinda,
Sukses
Siani,
semuanya.
Nafa.
Dr.
Terima
Marisza
kasih.
sukses ya.
Terima kasih. Keep in touch. Terima
Terima
kasih.
kasih.
Terima kasih.
Bye.
Bye. Terima kasih.
Halo,